Calculator, what's happening?
Greetings and salutations, Mr. 411. Fired up from last week's picks. They were very generous to the calculator, and I like to try and give out that generosity as well to the people that want to take the time to tune in and see what we got on the slate for this week.
Absolutely. Welcome everybody to Crossing the Lines, aka CTL with the calculator and Mr. 411. We will be covering some World Cup. So I know all our friends at Coles and Bo can't wait for that part.
Oh,
We'll
and the
get into that.
crew from Coles love the World Cup talk.
That's right. And of course, the NFL.
Hmm.
We're going to get our picks in for week 15. And if you're a follower on YouTube, we thank you. And future followers, we thank you as well. Remember, hit that like, that subscribe, hit that notification bell because we have the can't miss picks today. And
Hmm.
so get ready for
Hmm.
that.
Hmm. Hmm.
All right. So here we go, crossing the lines.
And we're back.
We are back, calculator. And one more piece of business before we get rolling. Take a look.
That's right. Subscribe. And we hope you like and just hit that notification button because we are going to incorporate going forward a couple of spreads NFL wise, and just like college NFL, just like college lines, they move. So the sooner you tune in, the sooner you can get a better line than what it could move to, and the sooner you could get an advantage in your friendly wager on the weekend.
That's right, absolutely. And we thank Blackjack TV for the simulcast. We thank the Jack.
The Jack.
There it is. All right, the calculator. Let's go ahead and kick this thing off with the NFL.
Yeah, and there's always a game on Thursday, Mister 411, and we usually see something about the San Francisco Seattle game, a rematch from the game. But Mister 411, do we have somebody that's going to be trying to find this game?
We definitely do, calculator.
He's
And
still
there's that
looking.
individual. He
He's
is
still
still
looking.
trying to
I,
figure
I, I
out.
was hoping. I was hoping the bartender, would have gotten the IT guy to, actually find, or the cable guy. They got to call the cable guy in now. And the cable guy said, "Hey, I can't do nothing for you on cable. You're gonna have to call your Wi-Fi provider." And then get you some streaming services to get you some Thursday night football. So it's like, yeah, he's still looking, and hopefully he'll find it by the end of the year, Mister 411. Otherwise, these people are just going to have to follow it old school like they did on the computer, where they had a little color graphics and the little bar that moves every time a pass is done, or as it's moving down the screen. It's like, yeah, and then you hit the,
Yeah,
the automatic refresh every 30 seconds so you can make sure you can get the updated play. So yes, a rematch of before San Francisco just pummeled Seattle their first matchup. It was in San Francisco, but there's a big difference. Seattle is a much better team, in my opinion, at this time than they were at that point in the year. San Francisco is not as good as they were last year, even though they're playing as good. There is a downgrade at quarterback. Yes, Purdy looked great against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but hey, they were at home. Now, this is his first true road test with a start against a team that I think is going to give them a battle. Heck, even the sportsbook has this at 3.5. So, hey, Vegas thinks it's going to be close. But if I'm going straight up, I got to go with the 49ers just because they're going to have the advantage in the trenches. They're going to have the advantage in the running game. McCaffrey over. Oh, and Ken Walker. Fantasy football players. Ken Walker is active, so should he be playing tonight? But still advantage goes to the 49ers on that, and the 49ers have advantage on in every metric on the defensive side of the ball. However, because I give actually Seattle the advantage over at quarterback, that's why I think it'll be a closer game. But straight up, I'm going San Francisco. Line currently at 3.5, and if I had put a gun in my head, it's not going to be our part of our primetime parlay. But I would take Seattle in the points if you want a little action tonight, because I do think it's going to be a closer game, because I think a road game for a undrafted or not undrafted, the Mr. Irrelevant in the draft could put some pressure, even though, and no Debo Samuel. So, hey, another fantasy football owners put Ayuk in there because I think he's going to get all the red zone looks tonight as well. So yeah, but I'm still going to pick San Francisco. Not going to fade the public on this one. It's 84%. If you're in a season long pool, you want to stay on the right side of the number on with that. But another special for these people, we got 3 Saturday games, Mr. 411, and we'll be going over one of them in order. First game early, Indianapolis, Minnesota. This is going to be closer than it seems. Again, gun to my head. You want a little action on Saturday? Take Minnesota minus the or take Indianapolis plus the points. But straight up, Minnesota, they have every luck factor that and we said it on this show. We said Minnesota was going to lose to Detroit last week, lost rather comfortably. I said their good luck cannot continue, and yes, I don't think it's going to continue again. But I just think they're a little bit better at home. Indianapolis. Neutral field, I'd be taking the Colts because the best unit on the field is going to be the Indianapolis defense on both sides. But I think Justin Jefferson will do enough. I think Dalvin Cook will do enough to get in. Their field goal kicking team will do enough to be still under. I wouldn't say uneducated. I mean, not seasoned veteran coaching staff, although I think they've done much better since they took over. But I think Minnesota, again, will just win because, believe it or not, Minnesota is one of the healthier teams out there. And I think that's what's continuing with their good record. And, Kirk Cousins, even though it's prime time is not really prime time. He's going to be on TV, but hey, it's the NFL Network. If you consider that prime time, so be it. But I think he'll be comfortable enough to pull out the game. But again, I think Indianapolis gives them all they want. This one, I was surprised. Cleveland is actually -3, and usually when I see a favorite team that is also fading the public, it's like I usually take the favorite team just because of the odds. But again, I just like Baltimore again, and I'll go in that a little bit more on our primetime parlay for a little foreshadowing. This game is going to be in our primetime parlay, and I'll give reasons on what we do and what we do with the number on that one. But straight up, go with the better team. I like the second string and the third string for Baltimore better than I like the first string for Cleveland, believe it or not. First string, I mean, yeah, his second game was better than his first game for Deshaun Watson, but it was still really bad. And now this is going to be the worst defense, or the best defense he's faced up to this point. And I think they're just going to make life miserable for Deshaun Watson in that Baltimore. That defense is nasty, and they proved it last week against Pittsburgh, and they did us proud. Okay, got to keep going. Buffalo. Okay. Word on the street, Miami was in Los Angeles. It was, it was 52, 53 degrees at night. Miami requested heats for the benches. I was like, oh my gosh, you need heaters in 50-degree weather? What is going to happen when they got 20-degree weather in Buffalo? Good luck with that. Buffalo, they were kind of playing like a preseason game against the Jets because they knew they were going to have a bigger matchup against Miami. And I think this is a double dip, even though the game's 7 points within the spread. I think Buffalo just blows the doors off of Miami. So don't think too much about this one. Take Buffalo in this one. This one give me a little bit more concern on this one. However, word out on the street, Atlanta has announced Riddler, their rookie, their pick in the draft to take over future quarterback duties. They're going to give him a run, and they're going to say, hey, let's give him his first start in New Orleans. That is why I don't think the Atlanta coaching staff is very educated in how they do things. I would never start a rookie quarterback on the road. You always look at Purdy. He got his start. They didn't pick up veteran because they knew they were at home. Riddler is going to be running for his life from Cameron Jordan, from Davis at the middle linebacker. And don't know if Lattimore's going to be back, but hey, the backups they've been having in there, they got enough experience where they're really not. I mean, yeah, they're still backups, but they got enough experience, enough to that I think they're not going to have to worry, especially with Pitt's not creating a matchup. I think they can take care of London and company with a rookie quarterback. So that's why I think New Orleans will win this straight up. Dallas, I'm just going to go. I don't want to fade the public on this one, but I do want to make this note. Since I heard that people were comparing Trevor Lawrence to Steffi Graf, he has stepped up his game. Since that, I heard that was week 9. He's had 10 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, leads the league in quarterback percentage, top 5 in EPA, which is efficiency on pass attempts. He's going to keep this game close, but I think Dallas again will have enough to where what's going to help Jacksonville in this game that's going to keep it close is Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence is going to get those little quick passes, which will negate the Dallas pass rush. And the one weakness of Dallas, and Houston actually exploited it for what they could, is the cornerbacks. They're just they're signing guys off the street to try and fill that void. And Jacksonville's a much more talented team than Houston. So that's why I think it's close. But I'm not going to go all the way out on a limb and say Dallas wins straight up. Again, I'd take Dallas in the points on this one, but Dallas straight up. This is the one I was circled. Detroit, thank you very much. They've helped us. They were on a roll. They proved the calculator right on the pick last week. I said, hey, we said they were going to beat the Vikings straight up. And not only did they beat the Vikings straight up, this one wasn't even close from the get-go. However, I noted on our Tuesday show, on the fantasy show, when you look at the underlying statistics, Jared Goff has 1 passing touchdown on the road outdoors. That is the key. And guess what? Yes, the Jets will play outdoors. And yes, it'll be cold. And yes, hey, could be snow. I do not like Jared Goff when he goes on the road outdoors against a top 5 defense. Bad news for this. Yes, I don't think the Jets are going to do that well as well because Mike White is still kind of hurt with the rib injury. But hey, I think they can just run the ball enough and play solid defense to win this game. So fading the 61%, and I'm picking the Jets on this one. This is one of those fade picks that we got to do to win these things. Kansas City, I don't even know, go in depth. It's one of the better teams in the league against one of the worst teams in the league. Go Kansas City. There's a reason that spreads 2 touchdowns and 14 points. This one going to be a little tricky one, but the Eagles and the Chicago straight up. Mr. Jones, you know who I always like when I bring up the Eagles. That's right, Mr. Senior 411. I'm with him on this one. Thumbs up on the Eagles. They take care of business because the reason this is going to be closer than the expert thinks is because Chicago, I think they're going to do one of those backdoor covers. I think Philadelphia is going to get up a little early and they'll trade a couple touchdowns. And I think it'll be one of those drives at the end of the game where Philadelphia is resting their defensive starters. Fields goes down and does a little, run pass option and gets outside and, scores one of those cheap touchdowns to do a backdoor cover. But again, straight up, take your Eagles on this one. Carolina, Pittsburgh. Hey, Carolina's actually favored. Well, you know what? That's when they lose. I'm taking Pittsburgh. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, Mitchell Trubisky stunk it up last week, but he still has plenty of starts behind him. They still have that nasty defense, and we still got Sam Darnold at quarterback. Yes, I don't care what they've done the past 2 games. It's always, what have you done for me lately? And listen, they're going against Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh will have that bad taste in their mouth. I'm going fading the public. It's under that. Hey, I've always talked about 4-point spreads on swing games. If you can get under a 4-point spread, and this one's at 3, I say take the underdog if you can get a good enough percentage. And right now, only 29% is going against Carolina. And I like Pittsburgh straight up in this matchup. Take your Steelers. Yes, this one. Oh, this was the craziest thing. I was reading message boards. Calculator loves reading message boards, Mr. 401, when he makes his pick. I got to like to see what the public's looking. This was how it is with Denver fans. Denver fans were all, Russell Wilson stinks. Russell, I can't believe we're paying all that money. Then Russell Wilson does that 9-yard scramble, gets a concussion, and all the Denver fans, see, that's why we signed Russell Wilson. He's taking one for the team. He's not scared to run. But they change on a dime. And apparently Russell Wilson also has been a spokesperson for this concussion water that they're talking about. And so he's drinking all this concussion water now. I don't know what it is, but you can Google it and find out for yourself, folks, because that's what I found out. Word is Russell Wilson will be playing. I like the Denver defense enough in this game. This has like 10-9 written all over it, Mr. 411. But I'm gonna take the Russell Wilson over a Colt McCoy. I'm gonna take that Denver defense over the Arizona defense. Hey, this is a downgrade when you say I'm actually saying the quarterbacks of Colt McCoy and Russell Wilson even. All right, so that's an insult to Denver. But hey, let's just put that out there. Well, guess who's the better offensive line? Believe it or not, Denver. Guess who's the better defense? Denver. So I'm just gonna take quarterbacks out of the situation. situation, I'm going to go with the team with the better defense and the better offensive line. And oh, by the way, they are playing in Mile High. We always talk about that upper air. Well, Arizona, they got the thin air every now and then, but it's different when it's in Denver. So I'm going to take Russell Wilson, the home team. Don't try and fade this one. This one is a one concern. We know when Vegas is favored, they lose. When Vegas is an underdog, they win. But again, I'm not going to bet against Bill Belichick. He knows how to take care of quarterbacks that can get jittery in the pocket. I think his front seven will create enough pressure that he's not that David Carr is not going to be able to find his secondary targets. Hey, fantasy people, fire up your Devontae Adams here because I think he is going to eat in this one. However, he's not going to eat enough because I just don't trust that defense enough to hold Mac Jones out of kicking field goals. Again, this has they could kick 6 field goals because they will be able to move the ball on the Raiders, and I think the defense will slow the Raiders down enough so that New England wins this one straight up. Oh, and this one, hey guys, Cincinnati double digits over Tampa Bay. This game's at 3.5. If I was to pick 3 teams, this was going to make it because I don't see every metric. Okay, yes. Tyler Boyd's hurt. Yes. T. Higgins is hurt. But guys, they still got Jamar Chase. I heard Hayden Hurst is coming back. They still got Joe Mixon, and they still got some my JP Ron. Yes, Hutchinson might be hurt on the defense, but when is Tom Brady been successful against bad defense? Not very much this week. So Cincinnati blows the door off of Tampa Bay. And yeah, I'm not going to try and get cute with a fade the public at 11% on a game under 3.5 because this game should have been 5 and 6 when I did my preliminary lines out there. So now that it's 3.5, I'll take Cincinnati all day long. But again, we're not talking about point spreads at this time, but I'll take Cincinnati in this one. All right, in this one, I'm surprised that the Chargers and I want to fade the public, but I can't because you got a hot Chargers and you got a Justin Herbert with Mike Williams back, Keenan Allen back, Evan Ingram back. I mean, not Evan Ingram, their tight end back. All right. And it's like because Evan Ingram, I'm sorry guys, he's on my mind from the Jacksonville game in fantasy last week. So that's why he's on my mind. But anyways, they got all their pass catchers back and they're at home. And what is the one defense of Tennessee, one weakness of Tennessee? It is their passing games. Now, guys, this is going to be a close game. And the reason it's going to be close is because what's the one weakness of the Chargers? Their run defense. What does Tennessee like to do? Run the ball. This is going to be totally a mismatch on both sides of the ball. But the thing is, if I can get a Jacksonville basically showed how to beat Tennessee. Pass on them. Don't worry about running the ball. It's pass only. And also what Las Vegas or what the Chargers can do to slow down Derrick Henry is they can Mr. 4-1, I got to plug my thing in. I'm about to lose power here. So Omaha.
Oh, okay.
So
we definitely don't want to lose you right here.
Yeah.
What we'll do in the meantime is
let's cut back to a break.
Well, we'll get our sponsor in, okay?
Yeah, there we go.
That's all right. So you trying to infuse some energy here, and what we're doing right now is definitely bringing some energy to the show right now. As you can see right here, check out the Panty Platter Boutique. That is the Panty Platter Boutique lingerie and underwear store. Lingerie for all your intimate occasions. You can check them out on Instagram at _Panty Platter. Or for inquiries, check out pantyplatter@gmail.com or visit the website www.thepantyplatter.com. That's www.thepantyplatter.com. Lingerie and underwear store. Lingerie for all your intimate occasions, not some of them, all of them. Smoking hot.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Great picture, Mr. 4-1. Thank you. Sorry, folks, for my technical difficulty there. But, that's what happens when you have a live show, Mr. 4-1. You never know what's going to pop up.
Well, you always get an information calculator, and sometimes, it's a little bit on overload. But that's all right. We're going to get the equipment guys over
Thank you, sir.
and help get you some more access
I appreciate that. But again, like I said, I'm just going to take the Chargers because if I have a mismatch like this, I think the Chargers can bring in that extra defensive lineman to slow down Henry enough to hold him to field goals, whereas I don't think the Tennessee can do anything to stop the Chargers offense. So that's why I'm taking the Chargers on this one. Oh, this one, if anybody watched that Washington Giants game, the Giants were playing for a tie because Heineke was slicing and dicing those guys up all day long. So I'm not, hey, and it was one of those things. It was the weirdest. I've never seen this. Washington played New York, right? And then Washington has a bye week. New York Giants has to go and play Philadelphia, and then they play again. Washington come off a bye week and play the Giants again. So I
Yeah,
don't think that's a very fair to the Giants. They had to go and play one of the best teams in the NFL, and then have to play Washington again. And I think that really plays in Washington's favor. And if you listen to our Tuesday show, which I always encourage people to do, even though we talk about fantasy, I talk about Heineke. I think he has a big game this week, and then Green Bay, Baker Mayfield. We talk about the pumpkin turning back in at midnight into the carriage back into the pumpkin and so forth. I try to use that Cinderella analogy, but yeah, Mayfield will, even though he has another, had an extended week to play. I think Aaron Rodgers is coming out. They're actually coming off of a bye week, so they're even better. I really like the Green Bay, and I always like a lower over under on these. And matter of fact, I'm going back in the 30s. And the reason I'm going to 30s because I just don't think the Rams can score enough to keep up. And Green Bay, we know how they are when it comes to scoring. So 38. Heck, folks, I'm going even lower than 30. I'm going 36. So when that over under, yeah, hey, well, I'll just say, you want to go on the over under that Monday? Look at that. They got 30. Hey, even the over under is low on 39 and a half. But I want to go even lower than that because if you're in a pool, a lot of people check over unders to do their total points. And so what I like to do is like, I'll go over or above, I'll go under the number or above the number to try and win a tiebreaker. And I think it'll go over the 39 and a half a little bit by at least another 3 points. So that's why we're going with that. So,
okay.
but that's for the picks, and and then what we'd like to do, and from this World One, I always like to take comments from people. It's a calculator. Thank you for a new segment on the NFL prime time parlay, and I say, I kind of like that. I like being comment, but I do like being right. But we've always said it, and I hadn't said it in a while. So, Miss Four, I'm gonna say it again. The calculator is capitalist. So I want people to make as much money as possible. So I try to find different ways to make different people different types of money. I like you always want to different types of cash flow out there. So let's see if we can get another primetime parlay. Primetime parlay breaks down into things. I give you two teams that I think you need to hammer, and you can do one of two things because it's a free world. Are a free country. You can do what you want. You can bundle it up, try to make 3-1 on your money, or you can try to hedge your bet one at a time, where all you would lose is the vig if you go 1-1. But hey, if you'd have bundled it last time, you'd have made good money. If you would have, hey, even if you would have won, if you'd have done the hedge bet, you wouldn't have won as 3-1, but you still would have won both bets. So you still come out ahead. You know what I'm saying? So it's up to people to do this. But hey, first one I'm going to go to, I briefly talked about it before. If I can get a team that I think's going to win, and I can get at least, and I'm getting a field goal in this game, Baltimore is getting 3 points. Baltimore has every advantage over Cleveland. Yes, even the quarterback. Yes, Deshaun Watson's a great talent. Deshaun Watson is working almost on 3 years not playing. So he's still in his preseason mode. And he's going to be preseason mode against a top, I talked about the Jets top 5. There's another top 5 defense. Baltimore has been lights out since Roquan Smith signed with them. They pressure. They can play. And Roquan Smith, he's one of those guys that can pressure quarterback. He can drop back in coverage. I'm sorry, folks. He is just like he's a faster version of Ray Lewis. Yes, he doesn't hit like Ray Lewis, and Ray Lewis won all the one-time greats. But Roquan Smith is one of the fastest quarterbacks to ever come out of out of college. So and people know that. And hey, our friend Zachariah can tell you all about Roquan Smith coming out of the University of Georgia, one of the top linebackers to ever play. And that's saying something when you see goes come out of the Georgia Bulldogs. But Roquan Smith, ever since he's found Baltimore, the lights out. You win this game with defense. It's one of those things where I think Justin Tucker coming there, he's going to kick 5 field goals, and they're going to hold Deshaun Watson to 3 field. This feels like a 15-9 game. But you know what? That's right, folks. We're getting 3. We're not giving up 3 points. We're getting 3 points. And if you can get the better team and 3 points, we say it in college football all the time. Take the points and run. Hey, you can sprinkle a little bit on the money line on straight up bet and get a little plus action on your money. But hey, when it's primetime parlay, we're going to take 3 points. And the second half, folks, I told you I wasn't going to let you down. I briefly sat on it. We're going opposite of last week. Detroit, love you, but hey, you got me your money and everything, and I appreciate it, but you're going totally against a different team. They have not played a defense this nasty for a while, and they got to play it on their home turf, and they got to play it in cold weather. We're talking about the Detroit Lions at the New York Jets. I love the Jets in this one. This one actually opened up. I'll give you a little history on this line movement, and it worked for us last week. Let's use the same logic. New York Jets actually opened up as a +1, and then the Sharps, they've been hammering ever since this board came out, and the Jets are actually -1.5. And that's why we say subscribe, like, notify. You need to notify so that you can get this early line. This is going to be moving up all the way to 3. So if you can get it now at 1.5 while it's moving, I suggest you do that, lock it in. But hey, if you can parlay your New York Jets -1.5 and Baltimore +3. That is your primetime parlay, and the calculator says enjoy the free money that Vegas. We know it's hard to make a living out of this, but if you, like I said, if you can get those 2 and we hit again, we're going to try and stay hot for you, for the people out there, Mr. 411.
Yes, sir. All right. We love that segment, and we thank our, the listeners' demands there. And man, the primetime parlay, we're gonna love that. And excellent, excellent idea. And I'm glad the calculator wanted to follow through with our listeners. And
Absolutely.
another thing, calculator, that our listeners love, they love to see the advertising. They love to see us support people.
That's right.
And one of our major sponsors is Heavenly Spa Mobile, 2484 Ingleside Avenue, Building A, Suite 101-A, Macon, Georgia 31204. LaTanya can be reached at 478-747-9231. That is 478-747-9231. Heavenly Spa Mobile, where relaxation is what, calculator?
The key.
It is definitely the key. All right. And check us out also on the 401 Sports World Network. We have a show following this one today at 6:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is the Sports Brothers, and it'll be Zach, Mr. 411, but also we have a special guest in the building. See that face right there on the screen? That's a serious Philadelphia Eagle fan that's going to be in the building. And this gentleman has a lot to say about his Eagles. He's from Philadelphia, so born and raised, and you probably heard those lyrics before on the song. But yes, this gentleman is going to be in the building, so be ready for a lot of Eagles talk today. And the playoff races are heating up in the NFL, so you want to tune in for this one. I guarantee it. You got to tune in for this because there's going to be some things said from the Philadelphia perspective that you need to hear.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, something else that is backed by popular demand, and that is our discussion of the World Cup. Yep. And calculator, I'll let you take it from here.
Hey, the World Cup, people that were watching it, Argentina, they basically put on a clinic against Croatia. Calculator, even after the Saudi Arabia loss, you can go back through the files. Calculator wasn't swayed at all. Calculator actually think the loss benefited Argentina from a personnel standpoint. That's what kind of motivated Argentina to move new sensation Alvarez into the starting lineup, and he has been a revelation for the Argentina field. Look at it. It was a dominating loss. Dominating. And Croatia, hey, Croatia made it to the quarterback. Croatia just got done beating Brazil. Croatia beat Japan. Croatia beat Belgium. Croatia beat some good teams to get where they were. And you know what? Argentina made them look average. And if you look at it, I think if you look at most of the stuff, Argentina, I would say from top to bottom, had a tougher path, to the point. And they've been playing under pressure because once they lost to Saudi Arabia, they had to win their group. They had to win the rest of their group. And then boom, hey, Australia, up and coming team, put them away. Netherlands, top. And I think they were ranked number 8 in the rankings. Dismissed them in a shootout. Croatia, another good team that's been beating people, they beat them, so they're there. And France, the only now I give France credit. Calculator was on. Calculator takes his medicine. Calculator said England would beat France, but nobody who plays attention and watch soccer can seriously tell me that in that France-England game, that other than the scoreboard, England dominated every facet of the game. But hey, France won. I give them credit. So now we're going to look at these two sides and how they match up at each other. Goalies, wash. Both of them have been great. But hey, if I'm in a shootout, I'm going to take a guy that won the Copa America in a shootout. I'm going to take a guy that played that shootout just 2 games ago in the Netherlands and everything. So I think I have the edge at goalkeeper if it comes down to that. Backline, Argentina, one of the better deepest backlines. They showed even one of their starters was out last week, Cunha, due to yellow cards. The sub came in there, held his own. Molina, a tremendous injury. Heck, even the announcer said, "Does this guy have 3 lungs?" Because he was running from the gun till they subbed him out at the 80-minute mark. But Molina, I mean, he's yes. The thing is, I would love to see Molina matched up against Mbappe, but however, because Molina is one of the fastest guys on Argentina's side, but that's not his side. Yes, Mbappe, that is the one thing that does scare Argentina. However, I think they're going to have a good defensive plan. It's going to be they're going to play kind of like that football where you put your star cornerback against their secondary guy and then double the best player. And I think that's what's going to shake out, because Molina's going to take out who's ever on the right side, and then they're going to roll a little bit more pressure onto the left side to slow down Mbappe. And Mbappe shows that, chess match. I love it. So, and the one thing, the key difference between these two guys you see on your screen, the key difference is the one on your left, the GOAT, Mr. Messi. He actually backs up and plays defense when needed, and that's the experience. Mbappe is still, I think he's like 23 years old. That's still young. He's still trying to learn the game. He still doesn't drop back enough. And I think if you saw the Morocco game, there are 3 plays that Morocco got past the back line that if it's Messi and Alvarez, they cash in on those. You are not going to stop those 2 things. And they showed it against Croatia. And they were trying to, swarm Messi, and what Messi was doing, boom, to Alvarez. And Alvarez, even though he didn't get an assist, you can kind of get an assist when he got that yellow card and the PK to Messi and he scored. And then the run by, and actually Alvarez has one of the best runs. And yeah, you're talking about World Cup. You're talking about, okay, when Alvarez took it off that corner kick, ran it, and then I talked about Molina, right? And what did Molina do? He crossed the path, and they said, "Oh man, you're causing too much traffic. You're bringing a defender." What that did is it took that one defender that followed him, took out another defender, got him spinned around to where he couldn't get control under Alvarez, and Alvarez just chipped it over. Beautiful play. It was a tactical thing where people thought like, what is he doing? He knew what he was doing, and I think that's what's going to happen. You got a more France is still young, but I'm telling you, I still cannot. It still boggles my mind that you can get a team make it to the finals without 2 of the top 10 players in the world. I mean, but I'll give France credit. What they did is they had plenty of strikers, so so Giroud actually makes the starting lineup to take over Benzema. And what they do with Griezmann, it's like, hey, we got 2 strikers. Griezmann, who's a natural striker, moving back into midfield because that's where Pogba usually plays, and Pogba is one of the best midfielders in the world. Well, so Griezmann's been taken, and it's worked out beautifully. However, again, they have not played a midfield other than England that is going to be as good as Argentina. I do not see how, because even though you have Mbappe, you may have Giroud, and even Griezmann, those guys do not play defense. And that back line, even though they got lucky against Morocco in those 3 plays I talked about, England attacked them and had plenty of chances. The goalie for France, and that's why I got to give him credit. He had more saves in that England game than he had at the whole World Cup combined. And I don't think he can have that type of game again. And also, I think the precision of the Argentina strikes are going to be a little bit more than that French guy can handle. So that's what I'm doing. I'm taking Argentina. I'm taking but hey, people, oh, you gotta love that picture. Messi, the GOAT, takes Argentina to the promised land, takes his first World Cup. I'm sorry, France is not Germany of the 2 World Cups ago. This is Messi. He finally gets that World Cup. He cements his place as the GOAT. But hey, I'm to the point where, win or not, I still say Messi's the GOAT because
Yeah.
of you take his body of work. Yes, he hasn't had the best World Cups that some of these other legends have had, but when you take his even his youth career to his time with Barcelona to now his time with PSG, I seriously think the Michael Jordan of basketball. Messi is one of the players in soccer that can make a entire team better. That's why they say Michael Jordan might score the most points in the world. It might not have the most steals in the world and all that stuff, but they said Michael Jordan is the GOAT because, well, not only did he have a lot of titles, but he made his entire team better. And that's what I think Messi does. And I think now that Messi actually has a team, a young, hungry team. This is one of the greatest blends of Argentina team where they have the older players like the Messis, the Di Marinas, the Acunas, and then they have the younger people like the Alvarez and the Molinas, and it's good. And DePaul. He actually came in because they had a little injury beforehand. They have one of the best Italian players, Dybala, he plays the Italian league. He's so good, he's hardly able to get on the field. However, I heard injury slowed him down again, but he looked good when he did play limited minutes against Croatia at the end of the game. So he's always a weapon that even if they get behind, they got another one of the top strikers in the world that they can. The reason he doesn't play that much is because he doesn't play much defense. That's a good thing about Alvarez. He can back up and help Messi on defense. Right? But yes, Argentina, Messi, the GOAT. I think they win. I think they beat France. And me and Mr. 401 were talking in the production meeting, and Mr. 401 asked, it's like, hey, can you bet on the World Cup? Of course you can bet on the World Cup. Look at that. These are the current odds on your average sports book. What this means is the books are favoring France to win. So what you'd have to do is you'd have to bet 125 to win $100 because the Vegas thinks the books are going to win. Argentina, on the other hand, is plus 100. Basically, that's even money. You bet 100 to win 100. So, you take out the money, you take out the VIG, it's a straight up bet. And I just tried to break it down for you. Not only you're going to get what I think the team is going to win, you're getting a little bit better odds. So if you want to bet on the World Cup, I say put your money on Argentina. And I can almost guarantee you if they go to a shootout, Argentina knows shootouts. Argentina wins shootouts. So if I can have that in my back pocket just in case, I like it because people remember the French last shootout was in the Euros where they went out. Mbappe, their supposed star, missed his PK to send them out of the European Championships. A couple years ago, and I think that could be the same because I take the best 2 shootout teams in the World Cup, Croatia and Argentina, going with Argentina. So take Messi, the GOAT, and take it to the bank, folks.
Absolutely. There it is. Once again, calculator. Great job there. And you know what? And I just fell in love with the World Cup, man. So I find myself watching the matchups, and even some of them that I didn't get the chance to watch live. I have them all saved in my YouTube TV,
Yep.
and I go back and watch a lot of the matchups. And you was absolutely right about the defense, right? The young Frenchman, great electric player. But they even said like it was like I forget the minute mark now, like the 70th minute or something. There was like he finally gets back on defense.
Yeah, Mbappe. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's not known for his defense.
yeah, yeah. So that's some good analysis there. But he's a young guy, and yeah,
He
this
is.
is an epic matchup. So if you haven't caught any of the matchups, definitely tune in on Sunday morning and watch this final.
Yeah, and it's funny. I didn't mention this, and I apologize to the folks. Yours truly will be in Biloxi this weekend. I'm going to try and take advantage of that primetime parlay. But another thing, if I can get that +100, calculator might be doing a little action on the World Cup as well, and watch it on the big Biloxi's big screen on the World Cup. At 9 o'clock in the morning, I'll be eating the breakfast buffet early, and then I got to get my wagers in. And oh man, I can't wait to watch it on the big, because right, and since it'll be on a Sunday, that'll roll from the World Cup, roll in right into the football wagers, and then it's going to be a great day of football. And I'm looking forward to my upcoming trip this weekend.
Wow, calculator, you're in sports heaven, man. That's gonna be
Oh,
great.
yeah,
Make sure you give us some and some updates while you're there. Some
absolutely.
and let us know how things are moving and shaking out there.
Absolutely. Will do.
All right. Well, thank you, calculator. We thank everybody for tuning in and watching.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, hit those like buttons, hit the subscribe, hit the notification
Notify.
bell, and share with a friend. Let them know what's going on.
Sharing is caring, Mr. 411.
Absolutely. We thank all our sponsors as well for supporting our shows. Calculator, I will see you soon.
See ya.
All right. Everyone take care. Have a good one.
Bye, everyone.